if you need any help. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to do a quick review for you so you had it for your quiz tomorrow. So just an overview of the slides, and we're looking at the causes of the American Revolution. So once again, we started with the Stamp Act, and the Stamp Act was really a response to the French and Indian War. Problems that came out of it were the fact that the British government couldn't pay for it. And if you remember, King George III says, okay, I've got to pay off this debt. So instead, I am going to have to tax you with the Sugar Act. But the Sugar Act didn't bring in enough money. So what happens? The Stamp Act is created to pay off the remainder of the debt. And King George has said, look, I need more money for the military protection I'm giving you. I need more money to pay off the debt from the war where I already protected you. And at this point, I don't have the ability to tax the people living in Britain anymore. They pay more tax than you. So it's your turn. Give me more money. And that's why the Stamp Act becomes a real problem. So the colonists start creating their own little groups, things like groups like the Sons of Liberty. They start to protest. They start doing the tar and feathering of tax collectors. And as a response to all of this, there's a lot of pressure. The members of 9 different colonies meet in October of 1765, and it's known as the Stamp Act Congress, where they officially write down to King George III every problem they have with his taxes. King George III feels the pressure, and what does he do? He takes away the tax. He repeals it. Well, now we've got a problem. He still has to pay for all that debt. He still has a lot of problems with paying it off. And so what happens is Parliament says to the king, you can't repeal a tax you've already created. You have to show your strength against the colonists. And so what does he do? He creates the Declaratory Act and the Townshend Act, named after Charles Townshend, which basically says that we are going to tax you for extra soldiers now. We are going to tax you to pay off the debt like we initially created. And we're going to make sure that you don't riot, rebel, and give us a problem again, because we'll just keep taxing you. Well, obviously, the colonists don't like that. And so what happens in Boston? They're angry over all the additional taxes they're paying. And so they stand up to the British soldiers. And what do? They start hurling insults. They start throwing rocks, and they start clubbing the soldiers. And so the soldiers fire. 5 people are killed, including Crispus Attucks. And as a result, this political cartoon becomes very important because it shows that King George III is willing to show off his power. As a result of the massacre, what happens? George III now creates what's known as the Intolerable Acts. And the Intolerable Acts are in response to the fact that they have dumped tea in Boston Harbor. They have revolted against King George III's soldiers. And so he puts in these 5 specific acts. Be sure to review these for your quiz tomorrow. Don't forget, the quiz will be on the causes of the American Revolution. There's another slideshow, and there's also a Quizlet for you to review. So feel free to go through both of those at your leisure.